on, after we have talked about this topic, we're going to answer some question number 6, 7, and 8. So those topic is that demolition disease and death building the Panama Canal. So we're going to answer some fourth question and question number 6, 7, 8, and also the big discussion question. Moving on to the first question, number 6 is, why did finding a passage between oceans become more urgent in 19th centuries? So we all know that boats and traveling ships and traveling ways or trades and traveling is growing really fast, and the ships need more ways instead of like going all around South America to go from one ocean to another. They need to find that goes between the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. So they need to find ways to cut these two, a ways that goes cross from the Pacific, half Pacific and half Atlantic. So they need to find a ways to go between those. So instead of just going months going all the way around South Americas until they reach the other sides. So going all the ways around. 7th question is, what role do the United States play in Panama revolutions? So the U.S. supports Panama to fight with Panama to steal the independence from Colombia, because Panama that time it's still the Colombia's countries. So they fight with Panama to support or fight independence from Colombia. So after Panama become independent, the U.S. started to build this canal. They support or build again this canal after the French has left. Moving on to the 8th question, what is the main reason the French afford to build the canals? So the French failed mainly because the disease, because in there disease a lot. Sometimes mudslides, sometimes diseases, sometimes snakes, sometimes usually from red fever, and also some kind of snakes and very bad diseases. After the Panama's independence, the U.S. help, and once the French have goes there, they're very overconfident that they will make this canal to help the world. But actually, because the mainly things is that their plan is too hard. They thought they were planning to build this canal on sea levels and stuff like that, but they're overconfident. The president has said that they are confidently confidently use this kind of canals, but their plan is too hard. They pass through diseases. There are tons of different diseases. Also, they have mainly about their plans too hard until they can't work anymore. So yeah, they're going too hard for them, and lots of different times, money. They also died. Most of the people dies and got millions of money to build this. Moving on to discussion questions. How did Roosevelt actions of Panama compare with the history of U.S. interventions of Latin America? Well, as you know, that Roosevelt action in Panama are similar to U.S. actions, and why? Latin America becomes U.S. using all the powers. So what is different? So Roosevelt actions in Panama compared to history of U.S. interventions in Latin America. So much difference from other kind of inventions and there are different action, because like the other cases that the U.S. helped change the world, helped them change governments. Also, they helped them to change the actions of the government. Also, or support the group to get it wanted this time and to build the Panama Canal. So the differences is quite the differences. Roosevelt action in Panama are similar to U.S. action in Latin, because U.S. used the power to control and to work together to build something, and to government they help change the government, control events and protect their own nations and their own government. So how does Roosevelt action in Panama compare to the history of other U.S. interventions in Latin America? So there are a lot of different things. South America, Roosevelt actions is when they control something from a leadership. But on the other case, the U.S. help change the country government, help the other government instead. They help it to build the canals. The Roosevelt action are similar because they're Latin America, because U.S. uses its own kind of actions and control advantage. They control the event instead of just controls or help the other government. So that is why they are different between those two. This how the government goes. They control the government. One is to control the events. Other one is to help the other government. So that is the difference between this. So for these questions, why did finding passage between the ocean become more urgent? What role did the United States play in Panama Revolution? What the main reasons the French afforded to build the canal failed? How did Roosevelt action Panama compares to history of other U.S. divisions in Latin America? So I have answered all these questions, and my question answer is, Andrew, thank you for listening, and goodbye.